Hello everybody, it's Murialita here again, and we're going to do something a little bit different today. So there's this channel on YouTube called Go Figure. It's got Mia and Jessica. They're great girls. I love watching them. It's a much better channel than mine. But back in April, they decided to put out their Go Figure Tag video, which is basically a series of 8 questions, and they asked people to go ahead and answer them. So I decided, what the hey, I might as well. But I didn't want to just do that. I kind of want to be a little different, so I'm going to make up my own tag too. So we'll do the Go Figure tag first, and then I'll ask some questions after that. And if you want to answer them, go right ahead. Just post a comment or a link to your video. Let me know. I'm curious. Okay, so the first question from the Go Figure tag is, what is your figure aesthetic? My figure aesthetic is, I like me the ladies. All my figures are ladies. And they're all beautiful in their own way. I can't say it any other way because my collection is just so widely varied from, pretty much naked girls to fully clothed, big boobs to small boobs, tall, short, everything. The one thing that they all have in common is I like them. So the next question is, what figure are you most excited for this year? Well, let's see. I've got Percival, I've got Asmodeus, I've got Oncidium, I've got Haruna, I've got Hinasakura, I've got Purple Heart. I'm pretty much excited for all of them. At this moment in time right now, I'm going to say Percival because I'm stupidly excited for her. A week ago, I would have said Oncidium because I'm stupidly excited for her. And, I'm just excited for all my pre-orders. If we extend this to possibly next year or the year after, I'm going to say UL. I want a frickin' pre-order date for her. I want to give Fat my money, but they won't let me. The next question is, what part of figure collecting makes your heart flutter? My heart doesn't really flutter. I'm a guy. But, I get excited when I'm placing that order for that figure that I really like. I've spent, 2 weeks just going back and forth. And then I'm like, fuck it, press the order button. And then the stupid post office attempts to deliver it and I have to leave work early to go sign for it. But yeah, opening that figure and that first whiff of plastic. Gotta love it. Next question. What is the figure you've dropped the most cash on? So this, for me, has 3 different answers depending on the situation you're looking at. If we're just going to go flat out say, what's the most expensive figure, highest price you've paid, it's going to be Percival, which I just ordered yesterday. And she should be here next week. And I spent $232.20 on her with free shipping. But I used credit card reward points. So that knocked quite a bit off and put her below a bunch of other figures. So if we're going to say, okay, figure and shipping combined, that's going to be, figure and shipping combined without the credit reward points. That's going to be Asmodeus, the Kurishiri Ice Cream Nobushi version. Combined, it was like $220 something. But if you take off the shipping, she was $180 something. So if we're going to say no credit card rewards and no shipping, just the figure itself, that was my Yamato, the heavy armament version, and she was $212, free shipping. So, yeah, we'll go and if we're going to pick one, just say Percival. So the next question, be honest, prize figures, hell yeah or hell no? Honestly, they're not for me. I'm not going to say hell no because I know they serve their purpose. There is a place in the figure collecting world for them, and some people absolutely love them. And I'm not going to say hell yeah because I'm not one of those people. They're not for me. So they have their place. Their place is not in my collection. Next question. What do your parents think about your figures? Well, my dad passed away in 2000, so he doesn't really think about my figures at all. He wasn't alive when I collected them, so meh. My mom, she's seen them a few times, and I mean, I'm an adult, so she knows I can do what I want. I don't think she's the biggest fan of them, but she did say that she kind of likes them and that they're pretty. She said she really liked my Kurumi figure because of her dress, and then the next visit she said she really liked the Estrella figure because of her wings. My stepdad, he's pretty much the same as my mom. It's not his thing, but he knows I'm an adult. I can do what I want, so yeah. I mean, they both said that they're very pretty. So the next question. What figure are you most embarrassed to show your grandma? Well, once again, I'm older, so both my grandmothers, actually all my grandparents have passed away. So I'm going to modify this question and say my aunt, who is, grandma age, typical grandma age. So she's kind of very religious. So I don't think pretty much any of my figures are going to fly with her. Not her cup of tea, to say the least. But I really think like my demon shelf probably wouldn't go over well with her because she's religious. And if we're going to narrow it down to one, Asmodeus. Because, she's a demon, she's got on a G-string, and her tits are out. So, yeah, not what you want to show a religious older person. And then question number 8, the last question of the Go Figure tag is, where do you see your collection in 10 years? Well, I don't see it getting any smaller. Honestly, I don't want it to get much bigger, but I can't really stop myself from buying figures. I'm, addicted to them right now. But eventually, they may get their own dedicated room, but I don't know. It really depends on where my life goes. I don't plan ahead that far like some people do. But yeah, probably in their own room. All these figures are going to stay with me. We'll see. 10 years, I'll be 45, so, my answer may be completely different then. But anyways, that was the Go Figure tag. Let's move on to my own personal tag. Like I said, if you want to answer these questions, go ahead, leave a link to your video, and just let me know. And if you don't want to answer them, you don't have to. So, first question. Do you have any pets, and do you let them near your collection? I do have a pet. His name is Milo. He is a kitty cat. He likes to nibble. He would very much like to nibble on my collection, so no, he's not allowed near them. That's why I have them in the detolfs. If I didn't have a pet, they'd probably be out in the open. So the next question. Are pre-orders your best friend or your worst enemy? So, yeah, it's a double-edged sword. I'm going to go with they're my worst enemy. And the reason I'm going to say that is because of what I call the pre-order trap. I've been stuck in this basically since I started collecting. I did get out once, but then it backfired on me. So the pre-order trap is I've got a pre-order for, 6 months from now. So I know I've got it. So I'm going to keep going and looking up her information and seeing if other people are talking about her. I'm going on MSC, I'm going on AmiAmi, I'm going to all these sites, and then I see another one. I'm like, ooh, that's pretty. Buy it. And that keeps going on, and next thing you know, I find one for the month after my latest pre-order. I'm now in the trap for another month. And then I find one that's a year out, and I'm like, oh, I gotta have that. So now I'm in the trap for another year. So yeah, pre-order's kind of my worst enemy. They're a good thing for like the manufacturers because they help them gauge the interest in the figure, but for consumers, they can be a bad thing because especially with how the Japanese figure sites treat them, where they pay when the figure is released and shipping. Because I've seen so many people that they just keep ordering, and they spend all their money, and then they don't have the money to pay for it. Save your money, put it away when you order it, and you'll never have to worry about not being able to pay for your figure. That's a little right of mine. Next question. What is an impulse buy that you wound up absolutely loving? I've thought about this. I had a couple answers. I've narrowed it down to one. I'm going to say my Amil Manaflare figure. So with Amil, I had just gotten a bonus at work, so I wanted to buy a figure right now. And I looked for 2 days, finally found a couple that I liked. Amil, she wasn't even in my line of sight when I first started looking. And I wound up just picking her up just because. And man, I absolutely love her. I know she's not people's favorites, but to me she's she's sculpted perfectly and just looks great. So yeah, Amil. So what's your most disappointing figure? I'm going to answer this in 2 ways. First one is going to be actually my very first figure I bought, which was Kawashima Ami. I bought her just because I was at Comic-Con and I wanted to buy something. I wanted a memory. I don't really care for the figure anymore, but it is what it is. I'm not going to get rid of her because, like I said, it was for the memories. Now, if a figure that I was excited for, kinda, but didn't turn out like I had hoped, would be my Hokey figure, the Dream Tech lingerie style. She's small. She's not the best quality. I mean, I still love her because she's Hokey, but if I would go back and do it again, I probably wouldn't have gotten her. Okay. Next question. So go to MSC, look at your collection, and sort it by popularity. What's your most popular and least popular figure, and do you agree? So my most popular figure is my Jubei figure by Alter. She was my second figure ever. And yeah, I agree. She's a very good figure, and she deserves to be up there. My least popular figure is Rinka Kunitachi. She's all wrapped up in ribbons, and this one I don't agree with because I think she is actually a very nice figure, and I think she should be more popular than she is. Another one, my number 2 least popular, is Aizu Wakamatsu. She's another one that really deserves to be so much higher. But, I mean, I'm one of 5 people on MSC listed as owning her, so yeah. Okay, next question. What's the figure that really got you into collecting? This is not asking what your first figure was. This is asking what figure got you into collecting. And for me, that was actually the third figure I bought, which wound up being like my 6th figure. It was Purple Heart by Wing from Hyperdimension Neptunia. I was a Purple Heart fanboy, and I found her, and at the time, I thought I wasn't ever going to buy another figure, but I decided to pick her up, and that flipped my switch and got me started the pre-order trap, started going to MFC all this time, and it's just ballooned from there. Number 7. Where do you keep your figures? Proudly out in the open or hidden away from prying eyes? I love my figures, so they're in my living room, where I spend almost all of my time. I just look over, and there they are. Of course, no one ever comes to visit me, so it's kind of okay to have them in the open. But if people come and visit me, they'll see them, they'll judge me, but who cares? So, last question is, a new figure has just been delivered. How long before you have your grubby mitts all over them? In other words, do you open them right away or do you leave them in their box? Well, it really depends on what's going on, but typically I'll open them the same day. Only once or twice have I had to delay opening a figure, and that's because I was, leaving the house as it was being delivered and didn't get back till late. Usually within an hour or two, I have them open, which can be hard when you record unboxings. But hey, whatever. So I'm actually going to throw in a bonus 9th question. Look at your collection and pick one figure that you want people to buy because you think it is so good. And that one I am going to pick Luxuria. From the day that I opened her, I have always said, you need to buy this. And I'm going to say it again. You need to go buy Luxuria. She's great. But if she's not your thing, I understand. You don't have to. I just highly recommend her. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this. If you want to answer these questions, go right ahead. Give me a link and I'll watch your video. And if you don't want to answer them, that's fine. Hope you enjoyed. I'm out. Bye-bye.